Hello and welcome to another episode of The Critics. Today we are talking about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. This movie just came out a couple weeks ago, and I know I'm a little late behind. Like I said before, I've been super busy. Thanks for being patient with me. But this movie was different. First and foremost, I still really enjoy the cast of this movie. Chris Pratt is awesome. I also very much enjoy Dallas Bryce Howard, and some of their side characters were pretty good as well. They brought Jeff Goldblum back. That was like a big seller of the advertising of this movie. But then they didn't really do very much with Jeff Goldblum. He had a really good part at the very beginning, and he had a little speech at the end of the movie, and then that was it. He was in no other part of this movie, and I was a little bit disappointed with that because I would have liked to have them have some sort of interchange. He didn't even have to be around the dinosaurs, but have him interact with some of the newer characters, kind of give advice or trying to do something. I wish they would have did that, but they didn't do any of that. That was a thing that I really didn't like about this movie. Other things that kind of changed my opinion on this movie. Not that it was a bad movie by any means, but I didn't really appreciate the changing of the genre. I know that a lot of people don't like the formulaic sense of Jurassic Park, where they go to the island, everything is good for 5-10 minutes, and then the dinosaurs start eating people and they're on the run. But one thing I didn't appreciate about this movie is that they turned it into a monster film halfway through the film. Just completely changes the genre of this movie, and I don't know how I feel about it. To be completely honest, I don't know. They copied so many scenes directly from Jurassic Park into this movie, which was kind of nice to see the callback, but at the same time I felt like it lost the originality. They had the scene where the girl was trying to close the gate to the little elevator thing, and she couldn't get it, and the Indoraptor was coming after her, and she finally got it closed just in time. It was like an identical scene to in Jurassic Park, where the young girl was trying to close the exact same thing in the kitchen and finally got it closed, and then the raptor hit the door and you realized there was a reflection. I mean, it's very identical in so many aspects. One thing I did like about this movie, I did some research, and because of what they had been hearing as feedback from people from the last couple movies, is they did a little bit more with the animatronics on this movie. They had the scene where Blue, and they're giving Blue the blood transfusion. That was an animatronic scene. I believe I read that there was like 7 or 8 people underneath him moving different parts of Blue to make it real, and the actors were really able to touch this, this thing instead of just touching the air and then being CGI implanted later, and that was pretty cool. Also, the scene when they were getting the blood from the Tyrannosaurus Rex was animatronics as opposed to CGI. That I really thought was great, because I enjoy knowing that they're putting a little bit more emphasis. That was one of the best things about the original Jurassic Park movie, was that they used a blend of CGI and animatronics, and those real effects made it more realistic, and I really enjoyed that. The plot of this movie was very predictable, to be completely honest. It was the moment that we see who ended up being the main villain, you can tell in meeting him, he is going to be the villain. He just had that look about him. He was supposed to be this like businessman who's thinking that he's doing a good thing, and then like later is revealed that he is the villain. But for me, instantaneously, I knew he was going to be the villain. They did have an interesting little twist with this movie, with the young girl being a clone of her mother. I thought that was actually an okay twist. When I first saw it, I was thinking that it was going to end up being that the mother was the young girl from the original Jurassic Park movie, and then the reason why the 2 old men fell apart was because they had something about that wasn't his real granddaughter, it wasn't Hammond's real granddaughter, it was the other guy's granddaughter, and all this other stuff. I thought that was going to be a reveal. It wasn't. But having her be a clone was actually an interesting twist. I'm wondering what they are going to do to change that or to address that in future movies. So it does kind of captivate me at that point. But then there's other parts of this movie that just kind of frustrated me. I didn't necessarily care for the girl at the very end to open the gate. Now I understand that they didn't want to kill off all the dinosaurs, they didn't want to kill off their franchise, but her reasoning behind it just, it bothered me. Because I understand that they're living and she wanted them to be free because they're alive just like she's alive. My problem with that is that in her rationale, she's forgetting that these are animals that have been killing people, exclusively killing people. That's all they do. And to free roam them, she literally doomed the planet, essentially. And she's not, I mean, she was a young girl, but she was old enough to at least think about that, I feel. So there's a part of me that's just like, all right, well, you're dumb. And yeah, thanks for genocide, essentially, because it's going to be a hard time trying to kill all these dinosaurs. I know that there's the director of this movie has stated, he at least admitted, so I appreciate this, he admitted that he knew the next movie that they're making with the dinosaurs loose throughout at least the country, maybe even the planet, he has said that that's the movie he wanted to make, and he knew in order to make that movie he had to make this movie. So admittedly, he is saying that this movie, Fallen Kingdom, was a filler movie to get to the next movie. And parts of that you can definitely see when watching it. And it's not a bad movie by any means. I definitely think everyone should go watch it, especially if you like the Jurassic Park movies to begin with. But it's also not my favorite Jurassic Park movie. I'm going to give Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom a C+. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you so much for being patient. I know I've said this before, but hey, I appreciate you guys sticking with me. I'm going to be putting up some more reviews coming up very shortly. We're going to talk about Uncle Drew, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Incredibles 2. Those are all coming very shortly. Thank you so much, and until next time, have a great one.